Hello guys, Rashomon here with a video about Diablo 2 Resurrected because finally we have dates. Early access for beta testing is going to happen this weekend. And then we're going to have another public beta testing on the upcoming weekend on the 20th. So if you're selected already to play beta, your Battle.net should be updating the game to beta access. If not, the following weekend is going to happen on the 20th. All players, if you have the game already pre-purchased, you are going to 100% have access to the second beta testing on the 20th. So right now, we're going to read through the blog really quick. I just want to say that this is really important for the Diablo franchise because this is the first time that this team is releasing a game all together. They have a lot of experience in different games, in different companies, but Vicarious Vision is part of the team, of course, a really important part of the team because they have the remake ready to go. And also, you know, community managers, all these developers, and they also are gonna share a lot of information. So this is really important for Diablo at this point, moving forward for the whole franchise. So let's keep an eye on them and let's get into the blog post right now. Alright guys, and we're here with the blog post and the title, of course, Play Diablo 2 Resurrected TM during the early access and open beta. What's the difference between early access and open beta? Well, early access is gonna be kind of like a selection for you know, people to just have access to beta on the first weekend, and open beta is gonna be if you pre-purchase the game, you 100% gonna be access to the open beta for sure. So let's get into the details. Of course, they start with a little title. The Wars Against the Burning Hells is about to enter a new chapter on Windows PC, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4, starting August 13 at 10 a.m. Pacific, and then around 1 o'clock Eastern. Longtime fans and new players alike will have a chance to participate in the upcoming early access test. So this is not like all players, but some of them are gonna have access to early access to testing the game, right? So, and then players can take part by pre-purchasing Diablo 2 Resurrected on the Diablo Prime Evil collection on Windows PC on all platforms, of course. And following the early access weekend on August the 20th at 10 a.m. again, we're going to have the open beta weekend. And this will be open to everyone on a supported platform. So this is going to be pretty much consoles. The only platform that isn't going to be part of the testing is going to be the Nintendo Switch. And we're going to see why in a couple minutes. So this is table contents, new classes, multiplayer, miscellaneous, and also details, community and feedback, and FAQs. So the first thing I want to kind of like highlight here is they have a map with the, you know, early access to open beta and when it's gonna begin. It's like all this like information. This is part of the art that they're putting together to release this game. As I said before, this is the first time that this team is working together, releasing a game as a team, like as a Diablo team, right? This is really important because they are trying to, you know, implement new stuff. Even the Diablo account was really active, doing a lot of like, you know, games with the community and interacting a lot with the community. So I think this is going to be important because this is going to be a little like a hint of what's going to happen in the future with Diablo Immortal and what's going to happen in the future with Diablo 4. You're going to have a lot of information, but also they're doing a great job about releasing the game and all this communication. So big shout out to the community managers because they're doing great. Time Zone Converter, this is really great. You have it already here, the blog post. So the upcoming test weekends will feature 2 additional classes for players to experience. So of course, these are the new classes. We're going to see it here. It's the Druid, and also Druid's being, you know, eating a little bit. And the Paladin, she's like, I think it's the images are like kind of like horizontal, a little bit like, you know, flat or something, and they look like, I don't know. But we get to play these two classes. Remember, the first alpha testing session was Bard, Sorceress, and Amazon. So now we add in Pally and Druid, which is two of my favorite classes, and we get to kind of like play a lot. And the art is on point as usual. So multiplayer and miscellaneous details. So of course, both test weekends we have multiplayer enabled, and this is something important. We need to focus on multiplayer as well, because it's really important to kind of like see and report as much as possible, because what happens is, if there's an issue in multiplayer with this build, it's kind of like it's gonna replicate to a point if it's not fixed in between by the time the game is released. So if you want a game that is gonna be super cool and performing really well with your computing setup or with your friends when you play online, this is the time to give feedback. So of course you're gonna play in different platforms, because alongside cross progression on Windows PC, Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, PlayStation 5 and 4, up to 8 players can play together in one game. Of course, it's Diablo 2. So it's important because of course you're gonna use battle.net, but also the only situation is like for early access beta, players will need to have separately pre-order Diablo 2 Resurrected in different platforms. So if you want to cross progression your game, you need to have it like if you want to play like in PlayStation and PC, you need to have both games already pre-purchased. Otherwise, it's not gonna work, or it's not gonna keep your progress, because you're not gonna be able to play on both. So this is the only caveat, right? But I feel it's really cool. It's what, you know, what's gonna happen in the future. And as soon as the game is released on September 23rd, we're gonna get to enjoy like all these like features, right? So also they have a transmog for Diablo 3 players, and it's really cool. We already have it. I share it on the stream all the time. By the way, guys, if you guys don't know, I stream Tuesday to Saturday, sometimes Sundays as well on Twitch. If you want to ask questions or jump in to watch a little bit of Diablo 2 Resurrected, we're gonna be streaming the first beta testing weekend for sure. So, you know, feel free to just like stop by and say hi in chat. Also, community and feedback, right? So this is really important. So throughout the technical alpha, the community was incredible in sharing their feedback, bugs, and other insights from their experience throughout that test. So please share your impressions as we continue to polish the game while upholding the authenticity of the original game's design. We welcome you to share your feedback on the official Diablo 2 forums or Reddit, Diablo's Reddit, of course. And if you're unable to directly participate in these tests, but want to follow the game's development, please keep an eye on Diablo 2 Resurrected live streams across twitch.tv/Rashomon. You guys can enjoy the game as well. I'm always gonna share with you guys, and if you want to ask questions or try something, just ask in chat. I'm kind of like, you know, ready to help and share as much as possible. YouTube Gaming and all the platforms as well. Also, you can follow the Diablo account on Twitter, so to keep you updated with everything, right? So this is a please note, Diablo 2 Resurrected is still in development. Game content in the upcoming early access and open beta is not final and subject to change, because remember, this is still in the works. So we have a FAQ, how to take part in the early access, how to take part in the open beta. Open beta, you just need to pre-purchase the game. Early access is going to be pretty much like if you're available to download the game, you have access to the first weekend. How long will the beta last? And it's kind of like a 3-day weekend. Why are the only 5 classes on playable beta as well? Okay, Diablo 2 Resurrected will launch with 7 playable classes, but now they're focusing on 5, okay? Just for now. What acts are playable in the beta? This is really interesting. It's just Act 1 and 2. I was hoping for Act 3 at least, but I understand if they release the game with Act 3, it's going to be pretty much more than 50% of the game, and maybe that's a lot of content to put out. Also, new cinematics are going to be active in Act 1 and 2, so we'll get to see the new cinematics, and it's going to be really exciting because they've been working really hard on that, and I think they're going to be kind of like super good. My progression from beta carry over to the next test. yes, just for testing. It's not going to carry over by the time the game is released. It's just for testing purposes. So it's going to happen. And you are not going to be able to load your Diablo 2 Classic save files into the early access or open beta because they want to test something specific. So controller support, with the beta have controller support? Of course, yes. And they want to test more about controller support. So if you guys want to play with controllers, of course, if you're playing consoles by default, but you play on PC and you want to test controller support and give feedback, please do. Why? Diablo 2 Resurrected is the first one with controller support and ready to go, but then Diablo Immortal is developing controller support. Internally, they share this information. So if this controller support for D2R is fine, Immortal is going to be fine. Now, moving forward, we all know Diablo 4 is going to be released in consoles as well, and controller support is a thing. So to get a better controller support and the platform like in place and everything fine, we need to make sure that we give enough feedback and we share with the community and with the developers if we see any issues or something so they can get it right. I'll see you guys on stream, and I hope that you guys can share a lot of information if you want to jump in and ask questions, or maybe give me some tips about the game, because I'm not a super expert on Diablo 2 Resurrected. I'm more than happy to have you on the stream. Remember, I'm going to be streaming the whole weekend Diablo 2 Resurrected, so I'll see you guys in hell.